Hey, I am alive. Holy shit. This is cool. I'm alive. Here we go.
Chinese company has caused another major environmental disaster in Africa. A major river in Zambia was devastated overnight due to pollution. Signs of contamination have already been detected at least 100 kilometers downstream. Zambian authorities are worried that this waste spill could have long-term consequences, affecting the lives of millions. According to an Associated Press report, the spill happened on February 18th when a tailings dam collapsed at a copper mine operated by MCC Zambia. The dam was used to contain acidic waste. This company is controlled by China Non-Ferrous Metal Mining Group, a state-owned enterprise. Investigators from the Engineering Institute of Zambia say that the collapse released about 50 million liters of waste containing strong acids, dissolved solids, and heavy metals into a river that flows into the Kafue River, one of Zambia's most important waterways. The Kafue River runs through central Zambia and stretches over 1,500 kilometers. About 60% of the country's 20 million people live in the river basin, depending on it for fishing, agriculture, and industrial use. It also supplies drinking water to around 5 million people, including those in the capital, Lusaka. AP reporters visited parts of the Kafue River and saw dead fish washed up on the riverbanks, even 100 meters downstream from the mine. Sean Cornelius, who lives near the river, described the shocking change. Before February 18th, this river was full of life. Now everything is dead. It's unbelievable. It died overnight. The fish and birds vanished almost instantly. Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema has called in experts, calling the spill a crisis that threatens people and wildlife along the Kafue River. Officials worry that as the mining waste seeps into the ground or spreads further, underground water supplies will also be contaminated. Investigations are still ongoing to assess the full extent of the
What's up,
environmental
guys?
damage. In response, the Zambian government has deployed the Air Force to dump hundreds of tons of lime into the river to neutralize the acid and reduce harm. Boats are also moving across the river spraying lime. Just days after the first
So, how many, how many of you guys have heard that China just killed the Zambezi River in Africa because they're greedy mining techniques? And how many of you believe that Africans love China and what China's doing in Africa? If you're not familiar, the Zambezi River it separates Zambia and Zimbabwe, and it starts at what's known as Angel Falls. And Angel Falls, what's up, triple nine? Angel Falls is like the second highest waterfall in the world. It's a real tourist resort, international tourist resort. And just downstream from that waterfall is the mess that the Chinese caused in Africa, and it's
first
killing
incident,
the country.
another Chinese-owned mine in Zambia's copper belt was found to have a smaller acidic waste leak. Authorities accused the mine of trying to cover it up. Local police reported that a worker at the second mine fell into acidic waste and died. They also said the mine continued operating despite being ordered to shut down. Two Chinese mine managers have since been arrested. Following government orders, both mines have now stopped operations. Many Zambians are outraged over what has happened. Government spokesperson Cornelius Muwidwa called the situation extremely serious and said MCC Zambia will be responsible for covering the cleanup costs. Zambia is one of the world's top 10 copper producers, and the state-owned company MCC is a major player in Zambia's copper mining industry. According to meeting records published by MCC Zambia, its chairman, Zhang Pei-wen, met with Zambian government ministers this week and apologized for the acid leak incident.
Has to be.
Mwene Hemwinga, an environmental engineer who attended the meeting with Zhang and the Zambian ministers, expressed dissatisfaction with this Chinese apology. Hemwinga said, "They don't seem to have any concern at all, any regard at all, and I think it's really worrying because at the end of the day, we as Zambian people, it's the only land we have."
See, and that's the thing, and I'm glad that the Africans in Zambia are starting to recognize this. The Chinese look at them as subhuman. If you think the Africans, they don't like the colonials, and that's cool, that for their false narrative of slavery, whatever. But what they don't see is they've lit in a country that looks at them as less than slaves. And you just heard from their own mouth They apologize for poisoning the Zambezi River and killing people and killing all the fish and wildlife. Oh, we're sorry. And the people of Zambia are like, we really don't think you are. You just sound like you don't give a fuck. And the Chinese really don't give a fuck. And a lot of countries in Africa are realizing this. So anytime someone tells you that Africans love China, it's a bold-faced lie.
Despite the crucial role these minerals play in the economies of these countries, Chinese companies' large-scale mining activities in Africa's mineral-rich regions, such as the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Zimbabwe, which neighbor Zambia, are frequently criticized for their environmental impact.
Oh, by the way, this Democratic Republic of Congo, I did a story. They're being invaded by Rwanda and this army, I'm not sure where they're from, called M23. And they've taken over part of the southeast of the country. And apparently the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo made an offer to Trump that if he comes in and takes out the insurgent army, they'll give us, America, exclusive mining rights to all the minerals and in the country of the Democratic Republic of Congo. So anything you hear from here on out about China operating the Democratic Republic of Congo, they're going to get kicked out of there as well.
Chinese-owned copper mines have been accused of ignoring Zambian safety, labor, and other regulations while trying to control the supply of critical minerals, leading to local dissatisfaction. Chinese enterprises in Zambia have caused multiple disturbances and crises. Back in 2012, a particularly serious incident occurred, which reports stated that hundreds of locals were hunting for Chinese nationals, attacking them wherever they be found. On August 4, 2012, violent clashes broke out at the Chinese-owned Column coal mine, located about 320 kilometers south of the capital city, Lusaka. Hundreds of local workers stormed the mine, resulting in the death of one Chinese employee and 4 others being injured. According to a report from the Beijing News, the victim, Wu Zhengzai, a 51-year-old worker from Jiangxi province, tried to escape by hiding in the mine, but was struck by a mining cart pushed by the rioting workers. He died on the spot. 2 other injured workers were being treated.
Does this sound like they love China in Africa?
Column coal mine, the only Chinese-owned coal mine in Zambia, employed about 80 Chinese workers and 600 to 700 local workers. The conflict occurred on payday, triggered by a wage dispute. Earlier in July, the Zambian government had announced a new minimum wage standard, which led local workers to demand higher pay. On August 2nd, the company had reached an agreement with the union regarding the pay adjustment, but failed to inform the workers in time, which set off the conflict. On the day of the incident, around 300 to 400 local workers arrived at the mine by truck, beat up Chinese workers, and looted property. 5 Chinese workers tried to escape into the mine, but Wu Zhengzai, being older and weaker, was left behind and killed by stones and a mining cart. Mine manager Mei Xingpei described the scene as extremely brutal, saying the company was struggling to operate due to frequent strikes, and the workers were in a state of panic. Zambian police arrested 12 suspects related to the incident, including miners and local villagers, but the person directly responsible for Wu Zhengzai's death remained at large. The Southern Province Police Commissioner stated that the suspect's identity had been confirmed and a manhunt was underway. Column Coal Mines chairman Xu Jianxue revealed that after a shooting incident in 2010, the company had strictly prohibited Chinese employees from using firearms, leaving them only able to respond passively. This incident highlighted the labor disputes and security risks in the area. Column Coal Mine has also been in the media spotlight before. On October 15, 2010, Column Coal Mine was...
That is why they don't allow Chinese to have weapons in Zambia, because they shoot their subordinates or the African labor.
Involved in a riot triggered by delayed wages, during which 2 supervisors, Wu Jiuhua and Xiao Lishan, shot at local miners.
By the way, if you look at the trigger squeeze of this guy, this is like asinine trigger squeeze. I don't even know why they're showing this. Watch, see how his finger's bent? He is not pulling. He will not hit his target at more than 5 meters in front of him. That is horrible trigger squeeze.
Supervisors Wu Jiuhua and Xiao Lishan shot at...
They shouldn't show that. That's, if you know anything about weapons, that pisses me off. They're showing that. That is such improper trigger squeeze.
Local miners. After the incident, the two were detained by
Hey,
Zambian
Unbroken. Hey,
police.
Zardos.
China and Zambia established diplomatic relations on October 29, 1964, making Zambia the first country in southern Africa to recognize the Chinese Communist Party. Since 2018, Zambia has been investing $1 billion in installing Chinese-made telecom, broadcasting, and surveillance technology, which is part of the CCP's Digital Silk Road.
Surveillance
These
technology
projects are
deployed
all
in another
constructed and
country
funded
from
by Chinese
China?
companies,
Holy
including
shit.
controversial companies like ZTE and Huawei, making Zambia one of the countries at high risk of a debt crisis. Zambia has fallen into a debt trap due to the CCP's Belt and Road Initiative and currently owes China over $4 billion after failing to meet.
By the way, this happens throughout the world. China goes in, gets countries indebted to them. But see, the thing that they don't tell you is you can't keep having countries go in debt and not pay you back. Because if they don't pay you back, you don't have that money. And sure, you're going to get the money over time from the infrastructure that you're taking over. But if you do it like 20 times and 20 countries can't pay you back, you still have debtors that you have to pay back. And the infrastructure projects that you got going aren't going to pay you back enough in time. So basically, China's One Belt Road Initiative is going to bankrupt China in the long term, and it's already actually here. It's happening now.
Repayment obligations in 2020, Zambia had to restructure loans from China and other countries. As China's major debtor in Africa, Zambia became the first African country to default during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. In 2023, Djibouti also suspended debt repayments. Gregory Chifire, the head of Zambia's anti-corruption organization, who fled the country in November 2018, said, "We have sold ourselves to the CCP." Reports indicate that the CCP's Digital Silk Road is raising concerns that Zambia, a long-standing stable multi-party democracy, is shifting toward a model of repression like China's. According to the Open Observatory of Network Interference, in 2013 and 2014, the Zambian government used technologies typically associated with CCP censorship to block at least 4 websites. The Zambian watchdog, which focuses on exposing corruption, was one of the sites blocked. The content it posted was often labeled fake news by government officials. The independent Zambian media outlet The Mast reported, "As a newspaper, if you want to call an informant, the Zambian government will always know who you are calling." Likezo Kayongo, the head of Zambia's independent media outlet The Post, stated that Zambia's media operate in fear of the government, all thanks to the CCP's authoritarian assistance. The CCP has been actively involved in Africa for 25 years. During and after the Cold War, American companies dominated the African market. However, between 2001 and 2020, trade between China and sub-Saharan Africa grew by 1,864%, surpassing that of the US and the EU. China's share of sub-Saharan Africa trade grew from 4% to 25%, while the US and the EU saw their shares drop by 10 and 8 percentage points respectively. However, trade between China and Africa is still imbalanced. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has expressed hopes to reduce the trade deficit with China. China is South Africa's largest trade partner, but South Africa's imports from China far exceed its exports. Furthermore, the CCP has failed to fulfill its 2021 promise to purchase $300 billion in products from Africa. The US views China's actions in Africa as an important stage for advancing its commercial and geopolitical interests and weakening US influence. China-Africa cooperation has not only led to trade imbalances, but also caused soaring debt in African countries due to opaque loan agreements. According to data from Boston University between 2000 and 2022, China provided $170 billion in loans to 49 African countries and 7 regional organizations, primarily supporting Belt and Road Initiative infrastructure projects. In 2022, Africa's public debt reached $1.8 trillion, an increase of 183% compared to 2010, growing at a rate nearly 300% higher than GDP growth. In countries like Angola, Cameroon, the Republic of Congo, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Kenya, and Zambia, China holds more than 25% of the external debt. However, African countries, burdened with excessive debt and limited resources, are struggling to invest in sustainable development, which has become a source of social unrest. At the same time, the pandemic
That's
severely
cool of
impacted
you
the
guys.
Chinese economy, prompting the CCP to rely on the China Development Bank and the Export-Import Bank to support domestic real estate and exports, leading to a sharp reduction in loans to Africa. In 2016, China's loans to Africa totaled 28.4 billion US dollars. By 2020, this figure dropped to 2.9 billion US dollars and further decreased to 1.6 billion in 2021 and 1 billion in 2022. In 2023, loans increased to 4.61 billion US dollars, making the first growth in recent years, but it remained far below the peak of 2016.
Now, see what they're not telling you in all of these numbers, and I've reported on this. Mali, part of the Sahel Nation group of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. Mali is like the poorest country in Africa, and like 3 months ago, after they broke away from the ECOWAS financial scheme that France had them under, they actually paid off their national debt, and Burkina Faso also paid off their national debt. So there are countries that have been kicking the Chinese out that are actually becoming successful in self-governance, to where other countries are looking at that, and that's going to be the new norm, because 42 countries are on the Belt and Road Initiative. We've got loans from China in Africa. There's only 57 countries, and the only countries that are successful are the ones that are not on the One Belt Road Initiatives. So all these other countries are looking and saying, what the fuck? So they're going to unite and kick China out and not pay them back, and that's going to bankrupt China even further, because that's just a commonsensical thing for them to do.
At the 2024 China-Africa
Hold on, let's watch Mussolini.
Cooperation Forum, Chinese President Xi Jinping promised to provide 50.7 billion US dollars in funding support to Africa over the next 3 years and pledged to create at least 1 million jobs. However, with China's economy continuing to slow, whether the CCP can fulfill this promise remains uncertain. In fact, funding shortages have led to numerous unfinished projects across Africa. In Kenya, the high-speed rail line from Mombasa Port to Uganda abruptly stopped 468 kilometers from the border in a rural area. In Cameroon, a 450 million US dollar highway connecting the capital, Yaoundé, and the economic center, which started construction in 2012, stalled in 2019 after the China Export-Import Bank ceased issuing loans. Nigeria's 823 million US dollar light rail project in the capital Abuja appears to have been abandoned, with Nigeria spending $50 million annually to repay the loan. When reporters visited the railway facilities, they found the train cars locked, the station was deserted, and the VIP lounge was filled with bats and bird droppings. In September 2020,
they're explaining what happens with the One Belt Road Initiative, and all of African countries are realizing that it's a farce. China is going down.
4. The China-Africa Cooperation Forum Summit was held in Beijing, where the CCP welcomed more than 50 African leaders with grand ceremonies to compete with the US and Europe for influence in Africa. Renmin University professor Jing Canrong, known for promoting the CCP's agenda, inadvertently revealed some of the CCP's internal affairs when he was sidelined by authorities. In a video, Professor Jin said, "Many African leaders come to China and don't do much. They just visit Beijing, enjoy good food, and then make a statement. We resolutely support the One China policy. Taiwan is an inseparable part of China." After saying that, they immediately ask for money. Tsinghua University has calculated that we spend about 30 billion yuan every year to maintain this principle. At the same time, some netizens pointed out that, just like 6 years ago, African leaders and their spouses attending the China China-Africa Cooperation Forum in Beijing enjoyed luxurious car fleets, five-star hotels, grand banquet halls, and colorful foods, while repeating Taiwan is an inseparable part of China, and once again left with generous gifts from high-ranking CCP officials. Experts believe that the CCP's years of generous spending in Africa are driven by political motives that cannot be ignored. Since its establishment, the CCP has been working hard to win over poor African countries to isolate Taiwan in international forums, such as the United Nations Human Rights Council. This help limits Taiwan's diplomatic space. In addition, the so-called aid to African countries diverts the international community's attention away from the CCP's human rights violations. Moreover, in the early days, China used international aid as a pretext to help countries like Tanzania and Zambia build railways, with the goal of transporting their copper and other resources to ports and then shipping them back to China. He added that despite the CCP's extensive operations and investments in Africa, they have not brought significant benefits to the local people, instead enriching corrupt local officials. At the same time, these investments have severely damaged the ecological environment in Africa, causing irreversible harm to local communities.
You hear that? Basically, what they just said is the One Belt Road Initiative is killing China or killing African countries' ecosystems, and they're just now figuring it out. Again, basically, China is dead. It is DOA, baby doll. I don't care what other people say. Ecotech Kavu. Woo, that's a good name. I hope I said it right. How's it going, bro? If anyone wants to come up on panel, obviously it's pinned to the top. You're more than welcome to come up. I got a mushroom as a picture right there out of Muir Woods along the coast, California coast, just north of Marin. And I'm not sure. I think it's a tiger tail, but I'm not sure what kind of mushroom that is. No, they're in the death throes, Jeffro. They are dying. No one talks about Evergrande anymore. That big $1 trillion bankruptcy that they had to cover. Apparently, that's a no big deal. And now another one's fixing to go down, and their EV industry is fixing to go bankrupt. And all of that's just no big deal because they're going to continue to grow and be world leaders. And yeah, whatever. We don't even have the numbers how many millions of them died during the COVID thing. I'm anticipating about 300 million myself. But that's just from reports I got. Actually, I've heard reports up to 500 million, but that's kind of outrageous. But it is the CCP, so you never know. And we'll probably never get the true numbers out of how many people died over there since 2019, because they lived in hellish conditions. They actually did lock people down and didn't allow them outside of their houses for months on end, and people actually starved in their houses and stuff. So a lot of people had bad times in China because of the CCP. Yeah, BRICS isn't nothing, man. If you look at, I'm so tired of this. Okay, BRICS. What's the S in BRICS? Oh, it's South Africa. The country fixing to be, bankrupt and a third world nation, losing all the GDP they ever had to the Sahel nations. They're going to do a little fight back, and for a couple of years they might be okay because they got some shit going on with platinum and new industrial uses of platinum, which is going to spike the platinum price to extraordinary highs. That's coming around the corner, but they're at the bottom of their platinum mines. They're 2,200 meters down in the earth. They're coming to the end of it. They don't have but a couple of years left, and they're going to be a nothing burger. Canada and one other place found diamonds, so their diamonds are not unique to them. Gold, definitely not unique to them. The Sahel nations combined produce more gold than South Africa. So South Africa is a nothing burger. They could cut off their nuclear, so they don't have power, but for half the day. So out of 365 days, they only have 182 days of power. That's horrible. And it's bad for GDP. Well, you can call China and get some Chinese takeout, bro. I can tell you this, though, just like everything else from China, it'll fill you up for about 15 minutes, and then you're going to be hungry again. But you're still going to be out a lot of money. That's China in a nutshell. Bunch of rice, fill your tummy, but you have nothing but nothing inside you, and you paid for it. Sorry. Hey, what's up, Hunter? What you guys need to look at is the Alaskan king crab. That industry's going dead, pretty much. I mean, you're still going to be able to get some Alaskan king crabs, but believe it or not, since the 1970s, it's actually gotten real bad. Norway has more Alaskan king crabs than Alaska does, and they're actually fishing the king crab so it won't kill their ecosystem. So investing in king crab operations in Norway would be a good deal because they have abundance of king crabs, and it's going to replace the king crab market from Alaska to Norway. A lot of changes are happening. Yeah, they're trying to run the country. They're trying to run a lot of countries down there in Africa. And again, they're overextended. So in times of worldwide recessions, those who are overextended the most are going to fall. You know, it's all about, they say, who loses the least wins. Well, China's overextended in debt by loans that can't be paid back from other countries. And now we're hitting a worldwide recession. What do you think's going to happen? I said it several years ago on my station, on my show. When a country tells its central banks to accept watermelons as down payments for houses, you've got a problem. You guys quit. Hey. And about 2.5, 3 years ago, Chinese started taking watermelons and using watermelons as cash for down payment on houses. If you have to do that to keep your economy stimulated, I don't give a fuck what the experts are telling you. They're lying to you. That economy is collapsing. Imagine if you'd have to go down to your local Wells Fargo and say, hey, I got a truckload of watermelons. I want to buy a house. What's the economic scenario in America going to have to be like for that to happen? It's been like that in China for 3 years. Put it together. For everyone out there who loves China and thinks they're going to run the world, they're about 2 steps further in the grave than the U.S. dollar. And oh, by the way, the U.S. dollar already got saved, and no one knows about it except for me and a few others who watch my show. The OCC, the Office of Currency Controller, has already passed rules stating that that banks will be allowed to create a cryptocurrency stablecoin for that bank, 100% backed 1-to-1 by the U.S. dollar. That's going to stimulate competition for the consumer, because we have, how many banks do we have? Each bank will be saying, hey, if you use our token, we'll give you 5% interest on your savings and a 3% interest on your mortgage. And the next bank will come up with a better offer, and they'll start giving you offers, and the economy will get better because you'll now be a commodity rather than an asset. See, and when that change comes, we're going to be wealthy. It's and if you want to go back in history and see what happens, and Congress has already passed it, made it legal for banks to make their own stable coins backed 1-for-1 with the U.S. dollar. What that does actually is it gets rid of the Federal Reserve, believe it or not. So the Federal Reserve actually is fixing to go bye-bye in the next couple of years, replaced by banks and creating their own cryptocurrency stable coins backed 1-to-1 with the U.S. dollar, which strengthens the U.S. dollar. Because with competition of them trying to sell their bank's cryptocurrency, they still have to have $1 for every one of their cryptocurrency dollars that they put out. Means that the U.S. dollar is going to gain strength, because now those individual banks' tokens are going to be highly valuable, because instead of the U.S. dollar that you have in your pocket right now that's actually losing buying power, those crypto coins by those banks will actually be gaining buying power, because they're going to give you incentives to use them rather than taking the incentives away. Again, you're going to get a higher interest rate on your savings. You're going to get a lower interest rate on your mortgage. And again, back to history, if you want to go back in history and find out what happens economically when banks create their own currency, I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's from 1836 to 1862. Congress allowed banks to create their own currencies, and there were dollar bills, physical bills. And for like that 30-year period or 24-year period, banks were allowed to create their own currencies and compete for the consumer, the American consumer, for their business. And the economy rocked like a son of a bitch. It was one of the better economies in our country's history. So by doing that with a cryptocurrency pegged 1-to-1 with the US dollar, will not only strengthen the dollar, but it'll make it a reserve currency that'll be wanted around the world. And instead of money coming home to roost overnight, money will be leaving. And at the same time, money will be needed here more so than ever, because the banks will only be able to create the cryptocurrency stable coin for their bank if they have $1 for every coin. So they're going to be scrambling for dollars. So soon we're going to have a shortage of dollars, and they're going to have to go through a cryptocurrency. And there's a lot of changes. I don't even, oh God, it's so technical. All the changes that are coming, it's going to change everything. That's good, 79. You listen to those voices. And you know what? If you don't think so, think milk or think bread. There's no reason just to think so. It's such a small word. Think a bigger word. Yeah, Iraqi dinar. I'm sure it is hot. Everyone's talking about it. So what's that mean? FOMO. But hey, that's just what they tell us, before all this shit happens. Hey, no problem, C4. I was bored. I figured I'd do it live and say, how many people out there are as bored as me at 10 o'clock Pacific time on a Saturday night that are still up? Obviously, there's quite a few. By the way, that's Dixie in the background. If you hear the meows, that's her distinct type of meow she's making. She's wanting attention. Yeah, I know there's a lot of bored people out there. I'm a bored son of a bitch myself. That's why I'm doing so much work in the backyard. I'm bored. So I get out there and I tinker because I like gardening, designing, and all that crap. And it's fun. Gardening is very stimulating for your brain. And it makes your yard look nicer. And in my case, because of all the planting I'm doing, it's all in preparation to have the biggest weed plants I've grown in California to date. And I'm already concerned that I've already done too much to make them grow too large. So I might now have to start looking at implementation of stress techniques to keep them small. But if you get them going, Chad, if you get your plants growing real fast, they get tall quick, and then you stress them. Every time you stress them, the bud gets more potent. So if you start them off in a quick growth mode, and you'll have the opportunity to stress them more often, making the actual weed more potent. To where if you leave them in, this is for outdoor growing, if you leave them in a cup and allow them to get root bound before you plant them outside, that's the first stress that they'll have had, and it'll have negated their quick growth, and you probably won't be able to stress them out anymore in the lifetime of that plant. There's a lot of different techniques to grow and to get different results, because it's a living thing. It's a living creature, so at different time periods of its life, different things can happen to change the whole growth pattern. Chad, you got too much silver in your house. That's what I think. I'm starting a vaulting service where I vault people's silver for free. It's a no return policy. Guarantee you'll always have it. It's like the Fort Knox It's a private Fort Knox, but you can't never audit it. Figure if America did it, I can do it, right? Now Dixie's playing with someone. I wonder who she's playing with. She's playing with Silver. Yeah, I already planted one of my weed plants because in 2 days it grew 2 inches in its cup, and it had only been in the cup for a total of 3 days, and it was already 2 inches tall. So when I took it out of the cup and planted it, its roots, its main tap root was still going straight. It hadn't been diverted by anything. That son of a bitch is going to shoot up. I've got 3 more I'm keeping in the cups to where they get a little root bound before I put them out because I want to keep them smaller. I tell you what, I can do you a deal here. I'm going to be kind, helpful, and grateful because I know you people like weed so much. Since I can't share, I can show you how much I care. Like my crazy cat who just about fell off. This guy's a nut. You see him, he's swatting at midair. There's a mouse there getting this stuff here. Some good ass shit here, baby. Woo! Straight ready to roll in a joint or put in a bowl. I just filled it up today. Oh God, you guys should smell this. It smells awesome. Woo, look at that. Oh yeah. Space Force, baby. We get high. Yeah. The weed I developed, Chad. Its main parent, dominant strain, was a blueberry muffin because I wanted a strong THC plant, but I didn't want it to smell like weed because people steal the shit. And blueberry muffins, when you're growing, it smells like blueberries. So I combined a couple species, keeping the blueberry muffin, the dominant strain, in the combination, getting other traits in the bud that I wanted, and came up with a seed, and that's what I grow. And it's got a blueberry taste to it. Who knows, dude? This guy here is crazy. He starts off the craziness and gets off, and he'll start doing zoomies around the house, and then Silver will jump in, and then Gandalf jumps in, and then they start fighting because there's not enough room for all of them to be scatterbrained or running back and forth between the rooms. It's really exciting. I'm actually I'm working with this guy. We're doing an AI for security company. AI. We're like programming, getting started, whatever, and it's going to be offered for sale as a security package. But I have. This is why they have me as partner, because I came up with the idea of having individual services that aren't hooked up into a system to where you can have your own security system. Because if you have an AI security system and you have cameras around, you can have when the first camera sees someone like jump your fence, it can instantly hook up through the system and hit all the platforms of facial recognition pictures, DMV, court cases, all the public records. So as soon as the person jumps the fence, if you have an AI security system a video AI security system. It can follow from camera to camera that person, identify if they can get a facial, it can get identification through public records, and then do a vocalization before the person gets to your house and say, hey, Fred Turner, you just got out of jail 3 weeks ago for theft. You sure you want to break into this house? And that type of security system, because I think that's the security system of the future. Jeffro, I would talk to Arnold Schwarzenegger about that first, because I think he had a problem finding her. Didn't work out so well for him. Have I picked up any cool metals? I have not had money to pick up any cool metals. I have crypto, silver, a little bit of silver, a lot of gems, and a lot of crystallized osmium. I will be picking up. I saw. Was it a wanted or missing? A missing child on the back of a milk carton photo, or is it top 10 wanted list of the FBI? That's funny. No, I'm not wanted at all. I have, let's see here. If I was wanted, if I had any federal issues, well, I couldn't get that for one. But that's not the card I wanted to show you. This card here. See, this card here allows me on to go places where terrorists want to go to blow up infrastructure for America. This allows me to access infrastructure of America. And let's see, those are all the qualifications and the dates and shit like that. And then that's for like for refineries and train stations and shit like that, where they got explosive materials and whatnot. And this card right here allows me on any, it's a federal, good till 2028. It's a federal workers card that allow me on secure locations along any port or dock or pier or water-based work that's secure, that they need people they know won't, aren't bad guys. It takes 3 months. The feds do a thorough background check before you get that second card. So yeah, I'm clean. No, I did not. 79 did 79? Zardos. 79, did you see his face reveal? Hey, what's up, Mr. and Mrs. West Coast Stacker? Ooh, underwater welders. Those guys make fucking shitloads of money. I looked into it because I used to weld. They got to create a bubble on the surface of what they're welding, and then they put the tools inside that bubble to do the welding. Very dangerous, because if that bubble blows, you got high voltage fucking shit going on there that could, see, now you're surrounded by conductivity. Twicket, take off the ET. It's the Twick card. Shit, what's it stand for? Transcendental meditation worker or something like that. Transport Workers Identification Credentials. So TWIC, Transport Workers Identification, Transportation Workers Identification Card. That's what it says right there. Transportation Workers Identification Card, TWIC. It's a federal worker card that allows you access to secure locations. So that way, when this, see, I do things early. So they're going to pass a bill this year. It's going to be called the Shipbuilding Act. And when they pass that bill, it's going to say we need to build 200 boats fast as hell. And they got to be over 1,000 yards long each. And to do that, we've got to increase the infrastructure of every port and dock that can do anything with built boating in America. It's going to be an infrastructure rebuilding of our marine infrastructure. And the first people to get jobs are going to have that TWIC card. And they're going to be foremen and superintendents. Already set myself up. And I'll probably already have my own company and won't do it, but worst case scenario, I'm setting myself up to be a dock worker or a port working superintendent or a general foreman or a safety coordinator. I'm a trained safety coordinator, and I'd have to have that. And as a safety coordinator, according to the contracts that are designed and written up when you do federal work, which all port work will be federal work, they have to have a safety coordinator. As part of the contract, you have to hire someone as a safety coordinator to keep the injuries down low, make sure people follow safety protocols. And I'm qualified and competent and trained as a safety coordinator. So I've got the benefit if they hire me, I could not only fill that prerequisite of the contract as a safety coordinator, but also be like a general foreman or a superintendent role and cover 2 employee roles at the higher end management and only take 1 paycheck. And that's the sales pitch I'll have to get. See, there's Silver. He sees someone outside. So that's how I'm almost guaranteed I'll have a job when I move to Southeast. I'm kind of sort of setting myself up for success. I try. Do you think they put chemicals in your weed? Well, if you follow me enough, you will find out that I'm 100% natural. I use the microfungi network in the soil and symbiotic plants to do chemical transfers. When I grow my weed, I put canis lilies and tomatoes around them. Tomatoes absorb extra water out of the air, and they share it through the fungi network, microfungi network, with other plant species that are hooked up with that network, and they're symbiotic too, which the weed plant, cannabis plant, is symbiotic with the tomato and the cannabis. And the cannabis pulls out like potassium or something else out of the air, and it has excess. And then the weed plants pull certain chemicals out of the air. And all 3 of these plants share those chemicals through the root systems, to where all I do to my marijuana plants, I plant them in as much direct sun as I can in a certain area of my backyard. And I very, very seldom water them. And if you watch my videos, I get about 8-foot tall plants that are 6 foot round that produce 2 to 3 pounds of some serious bud. And all I do is water. And very little of that, because I've got the ecosystem set up to where it runs the way it's supposed to run. And if you have things set up the way and working the way they're supposed to run, you don't need chemicals. Chemicals are substitute. A substitute is something that's not there naturally. To grow, everything in the soil is there. You just have to have healthy soil, and then you don't have to add any chemicals. So if you grow your soil, and I'm sure people have heard me talk about this before, is growing soil. If you grow your soil, you've got a green thumb, because your plant will have everything it needs, because it's all in the soil. It's not in the water you give it or the chemicals you give it. It's all in the soil. Build your soil. I only support my local drug dealers. Oh, hold on. You guys ain't high. You don't know what high is. I smoke about 4 or 5 of these a day. Just on a normal day. JT Raw Dog. Healthy microbiome. Yes, exactly. As a matter of fact, I just planted some today. These are actually the only chemicals, and they're not. I don't know if these actually qualify as chemicals. This is what I use to make myself a green thumb. Mycos. It is a nutritional uptake gardening thing. Let's see, organic root enhancer for vegetables, fruits, herbs, and flowers. It contains, let's see, pure mycorrhizal inoculum. So it's pure mycorrhizal inoculum, which is a fungi. It's a natural and organic species blended for soil fungi that increases the uptake of everything, water and everything. So I add this straight to the root system. When you're planting it, I take a little bit of it, and I sprinkle it on the root system, put it in the ground. It helps that plant hook up with the natural fungi network that's in your soil. And then I use this, Azos. for roots. Only for the roots. It hooks it up with the microfungi network. It's got beneficial bacteria, natural growth promotion. So it's a bacteria. It's not a chemical. But I say chemicals because they come in bags. But they're not really chemicals. They're fungi network enhancing root stimulants, basically. Azos is naturally occurring bacteria that benefits plant growth. Azos converts atmospheric nitrogen into stable forms of nitrogen. That means it helps the plant pull nitrogen out of the air and use it naturally. Form of nitrogen that is readily available to the plant. Great for containers, raised beds, and row crops. It helps the plant create its own nitrogen and use it. Most of the fertilizers that you're going to use is nitrogen. I'm going to put this back in my garden area. Let's see, it doesn't end with just using those two products. You also have to learn about your plants and find out what plants are symbiotic with other plants, because then you multiply the impact. That's why I plant 2 other plants with my cannabis that are symbiotic with it, because they pull different things out of the air and they share the resources. It's the natural holistic way of growing. JT Raw Dog, what's up? Sorry I didn't see you come in. Oh, yeah, no, I'm shadow banned. I'm definitely shadow banned, bro. You ain't got to worry about that. Yeah, I've been doing this for 3 years and I don't have but 2,200 watch hours. I've been shadow banned big time. It doesn't matter about the growing season. If your soil's good, the plants know where they're at. They're acclimatized. They won't grow if they're not capable of growing in your environment. If you grow the plants available in your environment and you have a healthy soil system, fungi system and micro algae system in your soil, whatever grows in that ecozone that you're in will grow in that ecozone. And to get them going early, you can take basically a raised bed, 6x6 or 12x12s, boom, boom, and stick a open window on top of them, kind of like on a slant. Stick all your seedlings in there. You can get a month start because it'll be like a greenhouse, a small greenhouse, real cheap and easy to do. It'll give you a month start. So that way, like if you're in zone 9 and 10, you can grow plants in zones 7, 8, and 9 in 9 and 10 growing zones by starting your seedlings a month to 6 weeks early. So that way, when in zones 9 and 10, when the temperature gets up, if you have your seedlings in a small device like what I just said, 2x6 in the front and sides, 2x12 in the back with a old window on top of it, creates a greenhouse effect. You start your seeds in there. If you live in zones 9 and 10, you can grow zones 7, 8, and 9s or in your zone 9 and 10s by starting your seedlings early, because you have such a short growth season. If you start them early like that, you can get a full grow in and a healthier crop. So there are things you can do to grow in colder environments. It just takes a little bit more work. Yeah, or starting indoors is another way too, Jeffrey. Yes. Whippets suck, dude. They fuck your brain up. I did them for like 2 weeks of my life. I was like, whoa, dude, fuck this shit. That's bad for you. What did you find, Zardos? And I find this. Yeah, it's fun in moderation. A week or 2 of your life. Don't do it again. Cool. Oh, you found this channel. Well, I'm glad. I tell you what, because you found this channel, when you found this channel, I'm going to do a delayed smoke for you. take too big a hit. Actually, I think Trump is going to decriminalize, or what's the legal term? Right now, weed is a Schedule 1 felony drug. It's supposedly as bad as heroin. If you decriminalize it, make it a misdemeanor, and he legalizes it federally for medicinal purposes, like he said he would do in his first campaign, which he should fulfill during this run, it'll be medically legal in all 50 states within 3 years. 79, you just, go with the flow. Wherever you are, you're there for a reason, and then go with the flow. Wacky tobacco. Well, I might get a strike later in maybe December, because I might show how to do cold water extraction, hash making. Get the 7-bag wet cold water extraction. Just stir it up with your fucking shaved ice, and then pour it into your 7-bag system, and you get 7 different types of hash, from a bubble hash to a Lebanese blonde hash on the 7th level. Chad, if you saw 79's picture, she looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. Ain't no truer statement. So Zardoz was apparently on Sal's, which is cool. I don't get to all of his shows. I try to make them. Of course, I always say buy silver, platinum, and crystallized osmium, so you know when I'm there. Face reveal. So now you got to go watch it, 79, so you can see what it looks like. Where are you saying Sal did a face reveal? That would be interesting. You know what else is interesting? Being an adult. Because as an adult, when you get stoned and you get the munchies, no one can stop you from eating your chocolate. Yeah, it's going to make it here too. It's going to be legalized here too, or decriminalized. And when it's decriminalized, all this wood tariff bullshit, Canada's going to be meaningless for wood exports, because they've already got hemp wood. They've done an experimental grow, and they got the hemp fires, and they created a hemp fiber wood stronger than 2x4. Doesn't have pests, doesn't have pesticide, doesn't have any molds, or doesn't hold mold or mildew, won't grow on it. It's a better product than wood. Stronger, lighter, more fire resistant, mold and mildew resistant, termite resistant. So once we decriminalize weed, oh yeah, and here's another thing. You can grow a forest of it in like 100 acres every year. You don't have to wait 20 years and then cut down a forest and then wait down to 20 years. You can grow it every fucking year. So it's what's known as a highly renewable resource. It's also carbon zero, because it's in its quick growth, it creates so much freaking oxygen. Cutting it down is carbon zero. So your wood product off of it is a net zero. It's actually a green product, and it's better. Regenerative agriculture is A quick definition is like, okay, take lettuce, cut the head of it off, or the tip of the head of it off, and stick it back in the ground so it regrows. So you don't have to buy a seed. That's basically, I mean, it's more complex than that, but basically that's my understanding of what regenerative agriculture is. Same with like potatoes. You get a bag of potatoes, buy one bag, and then start planting them, and you don't never buy another one because they keep reproducing. It's a regenerative agriculture. Will they allow it to be released? Well, it makes economic sense. It solves a lot of problems. It allows us to manage our forest differently, allowing nature to take over because we no longer have to forest anything for wood, for housing. We'll only have to forest wood for furnishing. And that means you can let the forest grow longer, become older, more established, have more of a biodiversity, better ecology. So it's, it's probably be a lot better all the way around if we use hemp wood and allow that system to work. And then you also got to look at the benefits of hemp oils that you can get, because it's more than just a wood product that you can get. You can get lots of products out of the hemp. You can also make clothing that, oddly enough, is stronger than cotton out of hemp. So our clothing, our jeans, you make jeans out of hemp. Put the fucking cotton industry out of business. Cotton industry is actually bad for the environment. If you research how to grow cotton, it actually kills the soil. Cotton plant kills the soil. I actually researched it one time. There was a doctor. He was trying to genetically make cotton grow with a more blue instead of white, so that way they wouldn't have to dye it this color for jeans. He was successful, but it didn't take off. I don't know why, but he came up with a cotton that had a blue hue to it. Yeah, see, Chad, I mean, I just cleaned my garden out where I'm going to be planting my watermelons. I had overwinter volunteer potatoes that were still in the ground, grew up. And I pulled them all out, and I'm still seeing little potatoes, and I'm going to let them stay there. So that way next year I have more potatoes. They're just volunteers that are, and there was like, 50 potatoes that I didn't plant that I harvested that I didn't plant. They were just all volunteers. Actually, JT, it's the plant. If just like grapes, anything you monoculture, sunflowers, almond trees, any monoculture plant is bad for the ecosystem. Because what happens, and I've seen it happen up here in Napa and Sonoma counties where they grow wine, they'll strip the whole vegetation, natural vegetation, and put in hundreds of acres of nothing but vineyards. That means the natural habitat for all the natural ecosystems and the biosystems just got stripped for a monoculture crop. So in that sense, yes, it is the plant. It's the economy of the plant that's causing the monoculture, which is actually the devastating part to the ecosystem. But no, you're right. It's the farming practice would be another way of saying that. But when people say farming practice, you think of someone tilling and growing, and you don't think of a monoculture environment being a farming practice. So a little, vocal equalization there. Sure, yeah. Yeah, actually, lobsters were considered a poor man's food along with potatoes, believe it or not. Yeah, diversity is the thing. And actually, again, I go up to Napa a lot, used to do a lot more than I do now. And, all these vineyards, I got to know the owners and shit and the operators and stuff. Because when I was doing my bee thing, I had it on I knew 2 billionaire brothers that worked there. They had owned like 1,800 acres of land on the Napa River. And so I got to meet all the fucking wine people as I was going to their place. And I was telling them about overwinter planting fava beans or mustard in their fields. And there was like the road I went down was like half-mile long road to get to where my bees were, where these guys have their private land. And there was like a Chardonnay, Zinfandel or some shit like that. It was a company on this side. And then there was another company on this side. And the company on this side, after I think 3 or 4 years, the soil got so saline rich that nothing grew in it. And what they did is they stripped, I think it was like they did the company on one side worked with the company on the other side, see which one was most cost efficient. And this one company, wine company that was on the right side of the road, stripped 1 acre of soil 3 foot down and replaced it with new soil, then replanted the vineyards. And the guys on the other side followed my advice and planted mustard and fava bean over winter and just let it grow naturally in their crops, because the vines were pretty much dormant in the wintertime. And in the springtime, they'd come in and just do a general cleanup in their vineyards and let everything grow. And it was like 5,000 times cheaper and it actually added stuff back to the soil, added nitrogen and other things back to the soil that actually helped the vines out, to where the guys that did the stripping of the ground, they paid like $3 million for 1 acre. It would have been totally fucking cost effective for them to do that technique of revitalization of the soil for the vineyards every 5 years. So now what they do is they grow, you'll see, if you come out to Napa in like November, December, January, February, you'll see yellow flowers and white flowers in the vineyard fields. The yellow flowers are mustard plant, and the white flowers would be the fava bean, because they're all overwinter cropping those two, because they add nitrogen to the soil. They've got those little red potatoes for the small potatoes. I used to like those, and I think they also have, I think they call them little whites. They get about that big, and also little reds. So they're smaller potatoes. They're good for. Actually, we used to have them a lot. Actually, I don't see them that much anymore. Of course, I don't cook, but we used to have them. You'd boil them whole, red skinned, and they'd be about that big. And you have about 8 or 10 of them on your plate with a steak or something like that. And you'd take and you'd cut it in half, dip it in the fucking butter. Yeah, the small potatoes, not the big ones. But now what I like the purple sweet potato. And I've actually been looking for the seed of a purple sweet potato. I've been looking through Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. And so far, the times I'm not like totally on their ass looking, but every time I look, I don't find a purple sweet potato seed. And that's what I want. Well, JT, if you have or can get me somewhere where I can get a purple sweet potato seed and where I can start growing purple sweet potatoes, I would appreciate it highly, because I really, are they steak potatoes, Jeffrey? That's what they're called? I always had them with steak, so that would make sense. But I would really like a purple sweet potato, because they're the healthiest for you, and sweet potato tastes good. That's Chloe. Hey! Harley's not up there anymore. The other one's not in the window, so I don't know where my cats are. Jeffrey, they actually are a superfood with all the nutrients, antioxidants, and it's like red wine, but it's a food. It's like it is, in my opinion, I agree. It's a superfood. And that's probably why I can't find it, because it's really good for you. And what I do for anyone who has dogs, if you get sweet potatoes and after you grow them, cut them in about 1/8 inch section, stick them in your oven like at 180 for a couple hours to dehydrate. They're like good teeth cleaning, chewy snacks for your dogs that clean their teeth, and it's actually good for them. It gives them, the vitamins and minerals of the sweet potato. Oh, big time, Chad. Big time. Home, anything for a fact actually wasn't chemically altered to grow compared to something that's chemically altered to grow, the taste difference is night and day. Is that the name of the company? Potatoes don't stay the same. Yeah, no, they don't. That's why I grow my own cucumbers. This is shit that I plant, not trees. Because I got like the avocado tree, I got the orange tree, I got the lemon tree, I got the grapefruit tree, the fig tree. But things I plant would be like watermelon, cucumber, tomato, potato. And now that I don't have dogs, but I'm not going to be here next year. If I was going to be here next year, I'd probably tear down the shed and use part of the backyard and probably grow 100 ears of corn or something like that. A small amount, but more than enough for one person. Probably a couple different types of corn, actually. Yeah, just it's like beet chips, but for dogs. With the sweet potato, when you cut them to about 1/8 inch strips, and then dry them out to dehydrate them and give them to your dogs as treats. They're exactly like beet chips. And they're very, very nutritious for your dog. Cleans their teeth, freshens their breath, and it's good for them. Potatoes are good. And depending on what type of slicer you have, if you have a deep fryer, you make lots of different styles of fries. You can do your steak potato fry, your regular McDonald's style fry. You can do your waffle fry. You can do lots of different types of fry. What's up, Gerald? What the fuck is up is you're late. I've been going for hold on, what's it say? 1 hour and 12 minutes. And you just got here. What makes you late for a very important date? Man. Oh, cool. I'm frugal. I'm going to roll my own cigarette because I don't want to run to the store because it's too late at night. So what we got going here? Yeah, hour and 12 minutes, man. And I actually talked about crypto, dude. You missed it. I was talking about the banks creating their own stable coin backed by 1-to-1 with the dollar, which will strengthen the US dollar and keep it the world currency. Not world reserve currency, but a reserve currency of the world, because we're going away from world reserve currencies and economics status. There's not going to be any world reserve currencies anymore, but there are going to be a few currencies that are reserves used by the world. And that's where the one world reserve currency is going to go away. And like I've also stated a couple times, Russia has already been working with the world central banks and International Monetary Fund to digitize their whole economy in preparation for a digital economy, which would be a stable coin backed currency, which they're trying to do with that BRICS system of theirs by making it mandatory that every country have a 30% gold, this, that, the other, and a stable economy before they can, get into the BRICS system, this, that, and the other. And that's where the OCC, the Office of Currency Control, who actually is the only organization in the American government that you would need to worry about when it comes to economics with what they say, because they're that important, or has already okayed and Congress passed a bill making it legal for banks to create their own digital coin or stable coin backed 1-to-1 by the US dollar. So it's on like Donkey Kong. Early bird gets the worm, baby. It's early adoption of the cryptocurrencies. Not saying that precious metals and no other asset class ain't going to do good. I'm just saying there's a new economy, and it is a digital economy. All the other asset classes are still going to be valuable and have their place. We're still going to need to create things and make things. As a matter of fact, platinum is going to be more important than ever in this new economy because of the new technology and the things being created that's needing of platinum. While, hey, what's up, Knackers? While we're getting into this digital economy, platinum, the metal, is going to blow your mind with its use cases of necessity for these new technologies coming around, and the price because of supply and demand. It's just going to be off the hook. So it's going to be a digital and precious metals economy. The new part of it is the digital economy, and so the early adopters of the digital economy are going to be the big winners, and that's why I'm telling you all this shit. FedCoin, the U.S. Treasury signed a contract with Algorithm and XLM 5 years ago to create a stable coin called the FedCoin. So it's not like it hasn't been going on for 5 years for us to get to the point we're at, where they're now saying, Congress is saying, and the OCC is saying, yeah, we're going to be doing a stable coin backed 1-to-1 the US dollar. And that's going to obviously make the USD stronger than fuck. And that's the whole point, is to keep the dollar. Our economy is going to change. You either lose the dollar or you lose the economy. But we need to strip the CCP or get them out of our business sector, because they're like big in Vanguard and BlackRock. And we need to get them out of our economy. So we're gonna sacrifice the economy and save the dollar. And we'll have a new economy with new tech. And that's usually a time that economies fucking change and drop anyhow, is when you bring new tech in. And that's why I say there's going to be a V-shaped recovery. It's going to be fun times, people. A lot of things are going to be happening. A lot of things are going to be happening. Get yourself some crypto. Get yourself the right crypto, not just any crypto. No, it's not going to be all digital, but it's going to be certain sectors will be 100% digital. Your country-to-country transactions of large amounts, your business-to-business transactions of billions and hundreds of millions, instantaneous, that'll be crypto. The everyday average retail guy will be crypto and physical dollars. You're going to have both for a while. For adoption reasons, it's not going to happen overnight. For business, and quite frankly, for business, it's been digital for business and corporations and countries for fucking decades. I mean, Visa and MasterCard are a digital money transfer system. Digital. Crypto's digital. It was like fucking phase one of the digital economy was MasterCard and Visa. And speaking of MasterCard and Visa, if you watch their commercials, Visa's number one card isn't the gold card. It's the platinum card by the number one creditor. Isn't a gold card. Their number one card is a platinum card. So get yourself some platinum. They're telling you, subliminal messaging. Everyone's telling you. Dawn dishwashing detergents, number one is product, the platinum edition. Ford trucks, number one truck, platinum edition. Why are all these companies valuing platinum over their gold editions? Psychology, people. They're telling you shit. You just ain't picking up on it. You need to get yourself some platinum. I spoke with a guy on JM's Unleashed. I talked JM into having a live panel. He had a live panel a couple of days ago. There was this cat from South Africa on. Smart guy. He actually had 3 jobs, he said. One of his jobs was working for the platinum industry, and he said he couldn't talk about anything because he was working in the platinum industry in South Africa. So I said, well, just say yay or nay and let me talk. And I told him things I know, and he didn't say nay one time. He was like, yay, yep. He never said nope. So everything I say about platinum, an insider from the platinum industry in South Africa validated for me on that live stream. Let's see. Sorry, I missed a lot of chats, people. Let's see. What happened with Miss Costacker here? You know what? Stack away with that precious metals. 4.5 years ago, when I was big into crypto and I was doing lots of research, and I was a moderator for one of the larger crypto stations, all the research I did led me to silver, and I got kicked out of the crypto place because I got into I just research. I don't research in any direction. Whatever it says is the research I go, and everything that was being put out told me that silver was the biggest play to make. And if what happens to silver is what I think happens to silver is going to happen to silver, it actually will still be. It'll be over close to 100x. So it'll still be a bigger play than most cryptos in the long run. But now to make money, you got to go cycle to cycle, crypto cycle. It's come twice before the silver cycle. So right on, Gerald. Yeah, Ondu's a good project. Ondu, XCN, ZBCN, XLM, Algo, ADA, DGB. Those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head that I'm going to invest in when I have some money. And for stocks, Nanonuclear, NNE, MJNA, it's a medical marijuana stock. SFRX, Seafair Explorer, it's a treasure hunting company. And Clean Air Metals, it's a platinum mining company. It's the newest discovery of platinum in North America, actually, not in South Africa. So, yes, it will. Yes, it will be. See, what happens to humanity is jumps. We go stagnant, then we make jumps in technological advances and economic advances and everything else. And the next technological advance that's coming up is going to be a heavy use case for platinum, not silver. From what I've seen, actually, they've got, and I haven't done any thorough research, so don't hold me to this. I did see a paper that showed there was a solar panel that used, and it peer review takes like 2 years. So this, I read this about 6 months ago, 5 months ago. So it'll probably be another year and a half before anyone's serious about it. But there was this company claiming that they were using copper instead of silver in solar panels, and they were getting a 25.9% intake, to where silver, the best percentage of solar intake silver got was like 23.9. So according to them and their numbers, the solar panels with the new style, it wasn't the photovoltaic, it was the other style of solar cell that's new, and they used copper components over silver, and it got a higher energy intake using the copper. So if that technology comes out and we don't use silver in solar panels, the use case for silver wanes a little bit. That's just cigarettes, not a joint. But yeah, we're going to have probably 25 years of a digital economy, and then we'll shift up into something else. Another thing, a new thing will come along, another technological advancement. We might do quantum financing. That might be the next new thing in 20 or 30 years. Again, a lot of new things are coming around the corner, technologically wise. So, I don't know. I know I keep a heavy eye on platinum because no one else does. Silver, I don't keep as much of an eye on because so many people are out there talking shit about silver. I do know some things about silver that people aren't talking about, which makes me wonder if the people talking about silver know what the fuck they're talking about. but I'm not going to step on too many toes. I'll only step on the big boys' toes. Like I'll call Andy Schectman out, and I'll call Rick Rule out, which I have already done. Straighten both of them all out. Not really Rick. No, excuse me, not Andy. Rick Rule hopped on the platinum train. Andy Schectman is pushing platinum more now, but he's still not on board, but he sees the financial gains, so I don't know what his issue is. He should really be on crypto. Oh, knackers, XLM is going to take off. And XLM is solid. It's solid. What are you doing, Silver? XLM is a solid one. Algo is solid. ADA. As a matter of fact, Congress passing that bill allowing banks to create their own cryptocurrency backed one coin for $1 US. ADA Cardano. 5 years ago, I was listening to their head dude. He gave like monthly YouTube shows talking about it. And they were already stated they were working to be a bank to where they could give loans. And they signed a contract with Ethiopian government's education department to track students' grades. And it was going to be a 12-year form, for which I think they're on year 5 now. And after the grades, they're basically what they were going to do is they're building up cash to be able to become a bank, to do a new way of lending. Listen here, to do a new way of lending, not based off of credit, but based off of education. That's ADA's premise, to loan money to Ethiopians based off of their educational scores, not off of their credit ratings. New style of banking. I've known about it for years. Everyone should have if you paid attention, just saying. Yeah, that's because, Gerald, that's the wave. New part of the economy. It'll have to be somewhat, probably follow like BRICS, 30% backed by it, the rest of it, other commodities that we have. Look at BRICS. The BRICS trading currency, it's not a currency, but what their prerequisites are to be part of that trading group. And their baseline is 30% gold, backed gold. Your currency has to be 30% backed by gold. You have to have a stable economy, have to have a stable currency, and the rest of it backed by local countries. Sorry, tobacco is coming out the end here because I don't have a filter on it. It has to be backed by your local country's commodities, because not every country has the same commodity, but 30% of it has to be gold. So I would imagine that is a blueprint for what America will follow with the digital Fed coin. Is it'll probably be 30-40% backed by gold and maybe silver, since constitutionally they are money. So if you back it like 30% gold, 20% silver, 50% with oil and wheat or whatever else we have as a commodity, natural gas. So you might have like a silver, gold, natural gas, oil commodity backed digital currency. I don't know exactly what, but I mean, I could see something like that. But it's definitely going to be at least 30% gold back. Yeah, see, Gerald's on the page. Well, they stack gold. See, here's the economics of them stacking gold that no one gets. All these central banks are stacking gold. Everyone's like, oh, stacking gold. And everyone thinks it's for gold reasons. I just explained to you. Congress okayed, legalized banks to make their own stablecoin backed by dollars. What's the best way to store dollars? In gold. Because then, check this economic theory out. If you back your stable coins by dollars backed in gold, as the gold price goes up, your profit margin goes up. The amount of coins you can create without buying actual dollars goes up while still meeting the mandate of having a dollar for dollar backed stable coin. Holy shit, is that how they're going to make their profit margin? In a new economy that I don't know about yet, but by God, I can see it. Yeah, I see it. And I just told you guys about it, so I hope I don't get a strike and this thing is taken. Let me know if I go black all of a sudden, this thing gets taken down, because I just told you too much truth, and they usually take me down. 79, you are going to love this. You're going to love this girl. This is for you, 79. I'm sorry, I got the wrong one. Oh, Congress is gaslighting. I banned Nickel, 79. He got too crazy with his foolishness, and I got tired of dealing with it. Oh, right on, Chad. So you got an ounce of silver from Andy. Cool. Oh, Nickel's not here, bro. Yeah, I banned him, 79. I figured you'd get a kick out of that. He might have been here as that other guy who was in black and not a moderator. That might have been Nickel under a different name. Don't be proud of me. He did it to himself. I just don't go randomly cutting people off my channel. I give them notice. I'll be like, man, please quit. Please stop talking about it. And then I'll time them out. And if the channel creator times you out, you might want to listen to him. If you don't, I ban you. I think what he was upsetting me over is he was selling bullshit about China being the greatest and having a sound economy. What? China's got the worst economy, the worst society, the worst social infrastructure, the worst infrastructure for a social society. What? Their ships don't fucking float. Their rockets don't shoot. Their bullets and weapons, 1/3 of them are defective. They don't have any. Their aircraft carriers can't go more than 300 nautical miles away from their coastline without having a barge filled with, a target filled with fuel coming to them to refuel them. That's such World War II war style technology, and they want to go to war with us. We have nuclear carriers that we don't have to refuel for every 20 years. They can go around the world for 20 years. China would have to refill theirs 5,000 times and have a fucking fleet of ships behind their carriers with fuel to do what we can do. They're not even on the same wavelength as us. Be kind, health hungry. Are you saying I'm getting too mad? I'm sorry. Here, I'll bring a love bunny up here. Calm me down. Come up here, love bunny. Where you at? Ah, there we go. See, I told you I'd bring a love bunny up here. Jeez, my love bunny. Hey, what's up, Debbie? Okay, get down, Mom. Get down. No, so look at that. I let her up and all the other kitty cats come around. Want some of that time. Stay away, guys. Oh, yeah, she'll come back up. Come on. She didn't have enough meal time. That she wants to put her ass in my face. Come on, put the other side up. Put the other side up. Look at that face. Isn't that a lovely face? Oh, this is a lovely face. Yeah. She's a lovely face. She's a lovely face. China forever. Let's see, what people don't realize is if you understand how nations run, they think of things more than 20 years in advance. And both the CCP and the CCCP were created in 1947 and 1949 after World War II, when we created the world, or recreated it. And those two were staged to play the bad guy. And they're playing their part. We're using China for how we're supposed to. We're using China like we use Israel, basically. We allow them to steal our tech, or if they don't steal it fast enough, in the Bill Clinton case, we just drop a spy plane over there so they can have it, so they can use it, because we have backdoor on all of it. And if they do any upgrades on it that we can't do without it costing us trillions of dollars of paperwork and regulation, we can just steal it back. So if we give it to them, and in the case of Israel, what happens is like the F-16, when we gave them the first F-16s, everyone's like, oh, don't give them the F-16s. Well, you know what, America, we spent so much money on F-16s and it's so regulated that we forgot to put a fucking side view mirror on the F-16s so the pilots could see if anything's coming behind them. It would have cost us billions of dollars of research and development just to put a side view mirror on it. Or we could sell that plane to Israel, let them put the side mirror on it, do the testing, and we buy it back, one plane, and then we can put it on all our planes. That's how governments work. That's how stupid politics works. We're doing the same with China. We're just not buying the shit back. We're allowing them to steal it, develop it, because they have no rules, regulations. They don't have environmentalists. They don't have human rights. They can do all kinds of shit that we can't do here. So we allow them to steal our shit, keep the back doors on it, and we get the tech off of their research, and then we shut their shit down. So that's supposed to be. We beat Russia, the unbeatable bear. We beat the CCCP. So why can't we beat the CCP? Put it all together. It's the CCCP for a reason. All right, baby, get down. Gerald, how it's going to go? I am in total agreement with Travis, my friend, Economic Ninja. Waves, crypto, PMs, housing. Buy crypto, sell crypto. Buy PM, sell PM. Buy house. 1, 2, 3 waves over 4 or 5 months this year. Take $1,000, own a house in 6 months. If you play it right. If you listen to the right people on YouTube and don't listen to dumbasses who sound smart because they're good at selling a narrative without seeing that narrative all the way through. That's how people get burned. Just saying, it happens all the time. People that think they know what they're talking about forgot that one thing that changes everything. All their stuff. Oh, I didn't see it. You'll hear them all the time when they're wrong. Oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, whatever. Yeah, it's timing. It's a cycle. That's why they say there's a 50, 80, 100-year cycles ending. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Back to back to back cycles. It's a unique, once in a lifetime cycle hitting economic shit going on in our lifetimes right now. I'm excited. Is it a bad time? Yeah. It's economically a bad time for life. I'm paying $1 an egg, just like everyone else. I'm paying $5.50 a gallon. So is it bad economic times? Yeah, it's bad economic times. I've been jobless for a while. Bad economic times. Still excited though, because this is that's how it's supposed to be. They're making it hard on the rest of us so that we can't take advantage of it. So what little you have, take advantage of it because it's going to pay off big time. Crypto, take your profits off of crypto. Here's the deal. You put $100 into a crypto, it 20x's. It's now $2,000. You sell it towards the top. PMs are like, say silver's 40 at the time. You can still get yourself 50 ounces of silver. And then say silver at 40 jumps up to 100. So now you took that $100, turned it into $2,000. Hey! Hold on a second. You're taking that $100, rolled it into 2,000, rolled it into like 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, something like that. I forgot my math. And then you take that number and you look at the housing market. It's crashing. The house that was 150,000 is now 60,000. And you throw that $10,000 down on that house, and you got yourself a $50,000 loan on a house that used to be $150,000. And yes, it can happen. I just saw some houses today that were on an acre, 1.6 acres, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,200 square foot fixer-upper, but not undoable fixer-upper. Anyone who's got any building experience whatsoever could easily have fixed it up. $69,000. $69,000, $500 a month at 70% interest. So if interest rates were to go down, you'd even be paying less than $600 a month, $700 a month. Yeah. And with that kind of house payment, you don't need as good a paying job. It's like right here in California, you need to pay $2,000 to $3,000 easy a month for a place. Yeah, 4 to 6 times as much to rent as it will cost to own. So that means I could take a pay decrease of 75% and still be better off with that house in the Alabama area for $60,000. And because the dollar purchasing power here in California for $1 is only 88 cents, and the purchase because of state taxes and regulations, the same dollar's purchasing power in Alabama is $1.12. I actually gain 30-40% buying power for my dollar if I leave this state and go buy that cheap house that's a fixer-upper in a state where there's lower paying jobs. But the natural thought process of the person is, oh, I won't be making as much. Yeah, that's how you stay poor. And also, that's how you don't see waves coming of crypto and precious metals and housing. But yeah, it's the crypto market, precious metals market, and then housing. And if you play it right, if you had $1,000 in crypto and turned it into $20,000, and take that $20,000 and buy silver at $50, you're still getting a couple hundred ounces of silver. Then it jumps up to a couple $100. That $20,000 just became $100,000. So that means you took $1,000 and turned it into $100,000 by running these cycles in a couple months. And you take that $100,000 and buy a house because the house has just crashed, and now you own a house. This is all possible. This is not bullshit. You'll hear people. I'm going to talk about it, and you'll hear other people who see it coming. At the end of this year, you'll hear Ninja talk about it. He'll be like, "Yeah." He'll have people coming up on his show. Yeah, I did what you said, and I followed those waves, and I took $1,000, and now I own a house. You'll see. It's not bullshit, people. It's not bullshit. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's what it is. Of course it's valid. Of course it's valid. Especially if you don't know it. If you just jump in and you don't do any research, you're going to lose your ass. If you follow good people that you believe you can trust, and you stay up with it, because the crypto market is violent, that means up and down daily. So you'd have to have something tell you, hey, it's going, and don't be scared to sell quick and change your whole mindset. It's a fast market, crypto. And you got to be willing just to take profit. And who cares if you lost more profit by selling early because you got profit. Again, it's a mindset that you fuck yourself by, oh, I want to sell at the exact top. It's where I can say I sold at the exact top. Fuck that shit. Sell 75% up. You're still making money. That's the thing. Don't lose. Make. Because people who want to make it at the top usually lose. And are selling on the way down worse off than if they sold at 75% on the way up to the top. That's the facts. The theory is, oh, no, I'll sell at the top 95% and I'll be good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, how many people have done that? 2? How many people are investing? 2 billion? Yeah, good luck, baby. Play the odds. Yeah, see, the bigger risk. Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's the thing they sell you on. Bigger risks, bigger reward. Yeah. And bigger failure. The only thing is the percentage chance of failure is 95% with the bigger risk, bigger reward. The bigger chance of success is smaller risk, smaller reward, because you actually get the reward, which means it's better than bigger risk, 95% chance of no reward. It's a mindset. But yeah, it's all a mindset. You're sold on what you hear, and we believe it because we've heard it so many times. Buy low, sell high. People mistake this sell high internally you think, I'm going to sell at the top, not sell high. Sell high means if you bought it at $1 and it's up at $5, start selling. Get your original investment out. So if you put $100 in and it jumps up to $500, pull out your 100 and then tell yourself mentally, it ain't my money now. So, if I lose it, no big deal. If I make more, cool. I got my 100 back. So that's a good, solid investment. You got your money back. Everything else is profit. So if you look at it like that, then you start thinking, well, how much profit do I really want? Do I want to lose that profit? And then if that 500 that you took the 100 is now 400 and only goes up to 1,000, take 800 because now you made 800% profit. You should be happy. If it goes up to 10,000, who gives a fuck? You made 800% profit on your money. If you keep looking at it like that and you do that 10 times, you'll have made more money than the people who ride it to the top and don't make it to the top because they held on too long. I'm always high, 79. Matter of fact, I'm not going to smoke this cigarette. I'm going to repack a bowl just because you said that. There's still some in here, but I want a fresh bowl. And I've got more than enough weed to throw it away and get a fresh bowl in there. It would have sucked when I was a teenager. He's throwing away weed. I could have got 5 more hits out of that. Fuck that shit. I like quality. You have quality, you need quantity when it comes to weed. And I don't use screens, so sometimes get black shit on there, it clogs it up. There we go. Nice clean hit. Swing trading courses. There's day trading, swing trading, investing, opportunity. To be successful, you got to know them all and know which one you're playing and when to change up strategies to take profit. Doesn't matter percentage of profit. As long as you get your money back and make more than your money and you didn't waste enough time where it wasn't worth your money, you did good. It's a mindset. And once you get yourself in that mindset, you'll make more money doing the same thing more often. And then you got a supplemental income and a decent one. And then you got the right mindset. Then you start looking at scenarios like buying power of the dollar and expense of land and property tax in the areas. And you put all those numbers together and you'll realize, wow, living in this state, making 1/3 as much would still give me more buying power because of the pricing than living in this area, making 3 times as much, paying 8 times as much. And you start doing all the numbers. For me personally, when I do all the numbers, it's a no-brainer to move to Alabama from California. My lifetime, I've been in the union long enough to where I can get an early retirement. 60% of what I got, I'll get at early retirement, and I got like 16 retirement credits. That's like, if I was full retirement, it'd be like $1,750. So 60% of that, I'll probably get $9,000. Take taxes out, I'll get like $750. I can go to Alabama, and like I said, there was a $60,000 house, be $400 or $500 a month. And if I'm getting a early retirement of $750, and I'm only paying $500, that covers my utility and my mortgage. Why wouldn't I move? Because then I could get a job at 7-Eleven. That's all profit for me. Whatever, party money. It all depends on your perspective, your mindset, how you look at things. What's up, Finn? Let's see, slip in here. But yeah, if you look at crypto, and now I'm also, hey, there's more to my strategy than these three cycles of the crypto, precious metals, and housing. I'm also looking, even though stocks are probably going to crash between 30 and 50%, there's 4 stocks out there that I want to buy that I know for a fact, not know for a fact, I'm convinced are going to make me money no matter what, longer term. And they're cheap right now, so, and they're going to be cheaper. So I'm buying them too, not for a short term. That's why when Jeffrey was saying swing trade, and I mentioned this other type of trading, I implore lots of different strategies. I'm going to be buying crypto for instant financial gratification, and then I'll buy into take that profit margin, buy into the PM market, and take that gratification of capital gains and swing it into housing. I'll play that role, but I'm also buying stocks that are on different levels of play, like SFRX, the Seafarer Explorer. It's a stock. They do underwater exploration and recovery of treasures underneath reefs. As soon as they get their shit squared away, that stock's going to jump. I don't know exactly when, but they're close. Stock's cheap, so with the next couple of years, I know it's going to be worth more than it is now, and I can use it as leverage or sell it to get some money coming in. And then there's MJNA. As soon as they decriminalize weed and make it medical marijuana legal, that stock's going to take off a couple of years before the end of this administration. So it's a longer term play. And then there's a NNE, nanonuclear energy. That's a 5-10 year play. And then I got clean air metals. That's a 20, 30 year hold because they'll be paying dividends. NNE might pay dividends as well. Same maybe as MJN, I'm not too sure. But those are longer term plays I'm also investing in. And I'll invest in heavier as the market crashes while buying cryptos for the cycle wave profit margin to jump into these other profits. And I'm going to be starting LLCs to start get my side hustle as a business. So I'm doing all of these things, not just one. That's why I hate when people put me in a box or try and tell me they know what I mean. Most people don't. I got about 12 things going on in 4 different sectors that people individualize and decompartmentalize. I got all of them going on and different sectors of each one that I think is going to take off. And if I'm right, I'm going to be very, 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 very wealthy. And that's how you play it. You just don't stick into one with just one strategy. Deploy a lot of different strategies, long-term, short-term, this sector, that sector, this type of investment, that type of investment. It's basically ninja. I just described my buddy. I mean, that's what he does. And then he started a channel. But that's what he does. He sees opportunity, he buys into it and holds it because he knows he doesn't know it's going to pay when it's going to pay off, but he knows it's going to, and he wants a piece of it. And that's kind of sort of how you do it. And after a while of stocking up all these different investments for different reasons, when they take off, you can take advantage of them. Because if you buy a good thing, most of the time it will take off eventually. You just got to be able to hold it. And to be able to hold it, you got to be able to not really forget about it, but not need it. So in other words, don't invest what you need, only invest what you don't need. So that way you can let it sit and ride. Most people need a quick return for capital investment in themselves to make rent. So if you're coming at investing from that perspective, it's going to be a totally different perspective than actually investing, because you're investing to try and save your ass and not financial gain for investing future. You're looking at a quick turnaround and you're going to have a bad perspective and you're probably not going to win. Yeah. I agree with you. And it just takes taking information, doing your own research, put your own emphasis, your own perspective, your own personality on that strategy, add to it, make it yours, but learn basically, and don't invest like this, invest like this. Make sure these are mirrors. That wasn't a sign for you to jump up here, Moo Moo. But okay, see her spots. She looks like she was touched with a 10-foot pole. Were you touched with a 10-foot pole? Was you touched with a 10-foot pole? She doesn't like smoke, so she's gonna jump down here as soon as I light this up. Watch her. I'm watching her eyes. She's watching the lighter. Yeah, that's right. You know what this is. That's right. Here it goes. She don't like smoke. She'd make a bad investor. She runs from fires. Intro to Sweet Leaf. All right, who else has something to say? Is that a silver coin? Thin? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Platinum is going to blow your mind. There's new tech coming out. I've told you a little bit about it in some of my older videos. There's car power plants or engines. That technology, a lot of platinum needed, about close to 3 million ounces a year of platinum needed just for that technological advance that we're making, that we're going to see later this year with the turnout of the 2026 model cars and vehicles. And there's other new tech coming out. It's platinum's heavily needed, and the price of platinum is going to go big time. Okay, so you got a 1/4 ounce of gold. I'm gonna be looking at getting 2.5 gram bars of gold for my jewelry. So I got about 12 gems there that I've got 10 more I've got to grind down. Yeah, I don't invest in any uranium. 1 ounce is better than no ounces. As I say, it's quite possible. Historically, 1 ounce of platinum you'll be able to trade for 2 ounces of gold. It's possible you'll be able to trade 1 ounce of platinum for 3 ounces of gold in the near future if you stay looking at the ratios. But and professional investors will tell you this shit too. If you play the ratio game right now, platinum's the only play to make. The ratio from platinum to gold has never been better. You start hearing about these ratios. Oh, what's the silver to gold ratio? Oh, I'll buy when it's a 61 and sell when it's a 91 or whatever. I'll buy at 91 and sell at 61, whatever the thing is. Well, if you follow the same ratios of platinum to gold, there's never in history been a better time to invest in platinum, because the platinum to gold ratio is like 3-1. In other words, 3 platinum to make 1 gold. So if you had $3,000 right now, I would buy 3 ounces of platinum, because when that ratio changes, you can either have 1 ounce of gold, but if you get those 3 ounces of platinum and the ratio starts going up to where it's only 2 ounces of platinum for 1 gold, you just made a free 1/2 ounce of gold. And then if the ratio goes to 1.5 platinum to 1 ounce of gold, you just made 1 free ounce of gold. So if you play the ratio market on investing in precious metals, there's no better time to play platinum right now. It is the only play to make. No, out here in Cali, I don't go into the mountains, man. There are too many cranksters out here, bro. Well, You can say Neil shined a light on it, but I'm not as big as Dodge. But Elon will listen to me because I'm my goal is to have my name come out of Elon's mouth within the next 3 years. A goal, not my goal. A goal of many. Because I plan on following his business portfolio for Tesla damn near to a T, with federal subsidies and everything. Oh, it's going to. It's not poised. Well, it is poised, but yeah, it's going to. It's going to. Platinum, baby. Get you some platinum. That's a specialty market of coinage, and I'm very aware of the older coin market. I'm actually interested in the 350 BC Roman coins around the Battle of Economus, the first naval battle of the Roman Empire. I'm interested in that specific older coin because the time period and things that happened in the pivotal time in history and the change that occurred because of the technological advances that was thrust on Rome at the time that they had to overcome, and they did quite a good job of it. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm not running for governor, Gerald. I don't stand a chance against Mel. All he's got to do is stand there and say, "Give me freedom!" And I'll be like, "Fuck, I lost." Because every Californian wants freedom. So he'll be using that as a slogan, I'm sure. And he'll get lots of votes because of it. So, yeah. Debbie, do you think they'll do a gold confiscation? If they do, it'll be the same type that they did in 1933. And this is how it works. As an American patriot, we expect you to turn in your gold. Thank you very much. And if you're an idiot, you'll turn it in. If you're not, you'll keep it. Because that's what happened. That literally is how the last gold confiscation happened. They said, "Hey, it's illegal. Turn it in. Thank you." No teeth behind it. No people knocking on your door. No chasing down the paperwork. Oh, but we found you bought an ounce of gold. We're here to confiscate. But see what people don't think about. Okay, it's $3,000 an ounce. Cool. Okay, think about it now. Think about it. You've got a bureaucrat. He's got to waste 10 minutes to tell a lesser person in his staff to research who bought gold. So he's got to take an 8-hour day. He makes $40 an hour. So now we're at $240, and this other guy probably got $100 into it. And then they get a list. So then he's got to compile a list, and then they get a committee together. See how much money they're spending? It's called dollars going after dimes. They don't do it. What they count on is the psychology of you turning in your gold. Because they're not gonna send two guys in cars to come to your house to get an ounce or two of gold from you. Because for it to get to that level, they've already had to spend $15,000 in accumulated cost of man hours and government wages to get the authorization together to be able to get the person licensed to be able to go confiscate it. See, bureaucracy adds price tag to everything. That's why Trump wants to cut 10 regulations for every one, because it's so goddamn expensive to do things. That's why a hammer bought by the U.S. government costs $240 fucking dollars. Do you think they're going to go after you for fraud if you only charge them $100? Fuck no. That's how it works. 5-ounce rhodium bar would be like $27,000, bro. There'll still be cash used. We're still gonna have a physical bill. It's gonna be an addition. See, this is what's gonna happen. The dollar bill, the fiat dollar bill, the fiat dollar bill is gonna go away. It's gonna disappear. And they're gonna come up with this thing called Fed coin, a digital coin. And at that time, they're going to come up with a new bill, but it might not be a federal. See, because this says somewhere on it, the Federal Reserve note. See, so if the Federal Reserve goes away, you won't have a Federal Reserve note. That's this thing right here. And we spoke about this earlier in the stream, and I guess you guys didn't put it together. Congress has already passed a law stating that banks can create their own stable cryptocurrency for that bank. So that means if you have 5 banks creating 5 stable coins, it's not just going to be digital. They're going to create their own physical note as well. So you're going to have 5 new notes that are going to be representative value of a US dollar bill, but it won't be a US federal credit note or fiat dollar. And they're also going to have a digital Fed coin that you can go, hey, I got $50 here. Here's my phone. Boom, 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 boom. You got paid $50. I don't accept that kind of payment myself because I don't understand it, but apparently you can do that shit. I'd rather you hand me a $50 bill. But people like it when you go, here, boop, here's $50. Cool. A lot of people don't like that. So they're still going to have a physical bill. But if the banks are creating their own digital currency backed dollar for $1 for one stable coin that they create, first off, and this goes back to earlier in conversation, first off, they're going to buy gold because gold's going to keep going up. So if they buy gold at $3,000 and it goes up to $5,000, they'll be able to take 1 ounce of gold value that they have stored up and create 5,000 stable coins, even though they spent $3,000 to create those 5,000. So they already made a 40% profit margin by this new system of governance of economies and money creation. So it's profitable for them to buy gold and hold it, and then have Congress create a bill allowing them to create a stable coin, peg dollar to coin 1-to-1, and then back, instead of it with a physical dollar, back it with gold, which gold will be part of a Fed coin, as you have to have a certain amount of that asset for the backing of the Fed coin. So gold is the perfect thing. So by them switching this economic system to the new system of allowing banks to create their own digital coin, back 1-for-1 with the dollar, they've given them a 40% or 30%, a 20% profit margin, depending on when that bank bought gold. Central banks have been buying gold for a while, stockpiling it. We've been talking about it. The reason why is because if they bought it at 1,500 and now it's 3,000, they've already made 50% profit margin to incentivize them to go to a new economic system. You see what I'm saying? You got to buy them off. This has been going on for a while. It's been planned for a while. And the banks are down with it. The Congress passed it. The OCC okayed it. It's done deal. OCC okayed it. Congress okayed it. What more legality do you need? Oh, your belief. Okay. That's what keeps you poor. Facts and beliefs. Fact is, OCC okayed it. Congress already passed a bill okaying it. What's left to happen? Oh, for it to happen. It's still in the work, man. Things don't happen overnight, man. You don't just say, hey, red is now blue, and everyone sees this as blue because I said it and it happens overnight. No, it takes like years. It takes a while. America's big. The world, if it's a world economic change, it'll take years because big things move slow. They can pass the laws now. You won't feel the effects for a couple of years. And everyone, obviously, welcome to put down, as Debbie is, your own channels. Obviously, I encourage that. Then, if you've got a show, put yours down too. If it's legally pegged 1-to-1 with the dollar, and the dollar's pegged to gold, it's the same system as the fiat dollar we have now. It's no change, none whatsoever, Debbie. Except for in your mind, your feelings of it and wanting to hate it and wanting it to be evil and adding to it. But in reality, it's no change. What's changing is what you need to do is see the change and see how they're making it, how they're incentivizing the banks to go along with this change and accept this change, because the banks are the ones that have to accept it. Because first off, the Federal Reserve is going away. Yeah, that's right. Federal Reserve, the Fed is going away, because right now we have the fiat currency federal note that the Federal Reserve prints. So if Congress okayed the Fed to print that money, it's legal. Now Congress has okayed banks to make their own stable coin. This is the addition to the economy. The digital part of the economy kills the fiat part of the economy, but the fiat part of the economy has got to be replaced. So a new physical dollar bill has to come into play. So if Congress passed a bill stating that every bank has the right to print its own stable coin that's pegged to the dollar 1-for-1, boom, done. So what you need to do now is invest in the banks or the stable coin company, because they'll be solid for, last time America did it, it was from 1836 to 1862. So 25 years period. It's an experiment, social experiment. Social experiments last half a lifetime. Sucks for us, but that's how it works. Play the game and become wealthy. I got more than 5 hours of shit up here, Gerald. Yeah, the problem is in the conversion. But see, this is the same problem as in 1971, the conversion from the real dollar to the fiat dollar. So we have an example. And again, I go back to when I said at a projected 2% inflation, 2% times what equals 100? 50. So after 50 years of the fiat dollar, they anticipated it to go away. Anything after $50, and they're damn sure someone's making a lot of fucking money off of us. A shit ton of trillions off of us, because the fiat dollar is now at a negative of value. That's right. That dollar is at a negative fucking 6%. So everything's fake in realistic terms. So they have to create numbers to make it look good. But they got to get rid of the fiat dollar because it's already expended its life expenditure. Done. That's guaranteed. You know, a better thing. Yeah. Gold is still, if you're only looking at it from that perspective. If you're looking at it from a more value perspective, you want to buy silver or platinum. And again, the reason why I say that is because when platinum goes up to its natural value, if you buy 1 ounce of platinum now at $1,000, and in a couple of years it goes back to its normal value of twice that of gold, you can take $1,000 and 2 to 3 years, 4, maybe 5 years, however long it takes for it to go back to its historic norm of twice gold's price, and you'll be able to take that $1,000 coin and get 2 ounces of gold. At the time will probably be 5,000. So in other words, you'll be able to take $1,000 coin and get $10,000 worth of coins for that $1,000. Do you get the point? Or you can spend $3,000 now and get that coin and wait for it to go up 2,000 and you gained 40% instead of 200%. So yeah, you can still buy gold, and yeah, you will still get a little bit of profit, but you could have made a lot more if you played it differently. But everyone has their own investment strategies, and I suggest you use what's safe for you, but research on your own and see if what I'm saying is full of shit or if I got something, if I got something to it. Yeah, pretty much, Gerald. And then you got weirdos like me that are come up with some unique new artwork that no matter what the economy is, it's going to gain the most asset value gain possible for the artwork. Sliding in under the park, hitting the home run. Yeah. Destiny. I'm just filling my destiny. That's all. Someone had to fill it and I claimed it, so it's mine. That's how that works. Once you figure it out, that is how it works. Some people know and they take the claim. Other people trip up on it and figure it out. Oh yeah, most definitely. 100% agree. How long will platinum take? It could happen by the end of 2026 for sure. I think possibly sooner. The reason why I say that, and I'll explain this. I did a show, a video on clean air energy on them saying they weren't going to mine or do anything to their claim on the platinum claim in Thunder Bay, Canada, because platinum is too cheap. It's not profitable enough for them to start the open pit mine to get to the 400-meter mark where the top of the vein of platinum is. And then 3 weeks after I did that, they did another show, for which I did a show on, and they said by spring they would have the open pit 400-meter yard earth moved out of the way, and they would have a bulk sample of the top part of the vein, of the platinum vein, by sometime in spring, which is Q2, sometime towards probably the end of Q2. But now, if in the first report that I did, that they said, their words, they weren't going to do the open pit mining part until platinum gained in price. Platinum hasn't gained in price, and they still did the open pit mine after saying they weren't going to until platinum raised in price. So what that tells me, because I did investigations on who's behind this company, and there's 3 billionaires that are backing this company. Smart people. So what I saw when they started doing this open pit mine without the platinum price going up is they saw that within a couple months the platinum price would be gaining again, and they need to be in position of selling ore when that happens. So I'm actually anticipating, without any facts, because no one can, I don't have a crystal ball in the future. My research, I see patterns and pathways, and I can see by the end of Q2, platinum being well over $1,300 and going up. And it hasn't been that high in 13 years. So, and from there, just like silver, sky's the limit. Once the manipulation breaks, the longer it's held down, the further it goes up. Well, historically, it's twice the price of gold. So right now, theoretically, if it was never manipulated, it would be about $5,000 to $6,000 an ounce. But it was manipulated and held down just like silver. So when silver breaks out, people are saying, oh, 1,000, 1,250. Okay, well, what is that? That's 100x. So if platinum 100x is, it'd be $100,000. Same principles, but different metal. It's actually a more critical metal, and it's got more use cases coming up that people are going to find out about that'll actually make that more feasible 100x. Not saying that will happen, but there is a pathway for it to be worth $100,000 in a couple of years. Not that it will be, but there will be more manipulation and they're stopping that, I'm sure. But minus any manipulation of things flow naturally the way they're supposed to, it could easily be $100,000. But there's nothing ever works the way it's supposed to. Crystallized osmium, Finn. You need to talk to Gerald. He was making something. He wanted a bacon wrap tonight, ribs or something. I had this pastrami and grilled cheese sandwich. 2 of them. They were good. I love pastrami. Ain't nothing like the taste of pastrami. Tastes great. Less filling. Tastes great. Less filling. What is gone? I'll let you know. That's why you need to go out and kick rocks, Debbie. Seriously, take me seriously. It's not fictitious. Kick rocks. Go out to that fucking outback and kick some rocks with a metal detector, girl. Ounce at 5K? Shit. You got a lot of free places you can go for gold. Do it. You want free stuff? Put on some Daisy Dukes and start walking the streets. You get a lot of free stuff. You might not like it, but you get a lot of free stuff. Failing currencies when they usually reset the price of precious metals. But then if you look at historically, look at platinum. 1933, when they repriced gold up to $33 or something like that, platinum was still twice the price of gold. So if you only have historical references to go off of, if they revalue gold, say like up to $50,000, $100,000 platinum, baby. That's just going off of history. To change going off historical reference is exactly that. You have no reference points to go off of. If you use the reference points, whatever they revalue gold at, platinum will still be twice that eventually. Yeah, give her some crypto airdrops. Get some free crypto. Hold on, I'm going to go grab a Coca-Cola. I talked to my neighbor. He went to Costco today. I talked to him into getting me $60 worth of cat food for the outside cats. It's kind of cool when I can talk to other people and help it pay for them. Yeah, I'm still not talking about shit like that, Gerald. I don't want other people to know. Best way to get gold is to find it. That's all I'll say. And one thing I've always said is do research. 15 minutes a day for 365 days gives you more hours of research than 2 college courses for 2 semesters. And you can do it yourself. So 2 college courses in 2 semesters. So you need 6 college courses. So in 3 years of 15 minutes a day doing your own research, you just got as much self-schooling as someone does who went full-time to college for 1 year. So if you do that for a decade, You've got more knowledge than a 4-year college student. You should be wealthy without the fucking college loan, which means you're smarter than a college student. I've never been a good one to be governed. That's why I choose the name Niels Han Dynasty. Graced by God to have the name Han. And obviously the Han Dynasty was an actual dynasty spelled H-A-N. And they were a great dynasty. Actually came up with quantum purple pigment 2,500 years before quantum was created. The Han Dynasty in China had quantum purple pigment that they were painting. Ain't that freaky? How did 2,500 years ago a civilization have quantum anything? We can't even make quantum purple pigment now. Yeah, you know, if you've already got invested in other things, none of that shit matters. That's actually more beneficial because everyone will be looking to get in what you're already into, which will raise the value of whatever it is you have with whatever they value it against when the dollar is recreated into whatever it'll be recreated into, because economics will have to continue. So the ownership of assets, good, solid assets, way to go. Diversified solid assets through different sectors. Very much so, Debbie. As a matter of fact, I would probably have a 4-wheel drive with a trailer. The trailer set up as a camper setup, to where on weekends I'd be out there metal detecting. And I'd actually have already gotten, if I lived there, I'd have had a drone geared up with 3-foot wires hanging down off of it, flying at 10 foot, making it a mobile metal detector, hooking it up with my computer and GPS. So every time it hit a bing, it would locate it and mark it on my computer. And I'd have it run a cycle the size of a football field, and all the pings would come up on my computer, and I'd be in the shade drinking. And then when it was over doing its scan, get off of me. When it was finished doing the scan, I'd go out using my computer to the exact areas it pinged, and I would just spend my time digging in those areas, and I'd cover a football field in 20 minutes. So however much gold you can get in a football field, I'd be able to get while in the shade until I was out there actually locating exactly where to look for it. Because the technology is there for everything I just stated. Just people don't think about it. And that's probably why I'm not in Australia, because I'm too inventive. I know I can. As a matter of fact, where is it? I got 2 of them. All you gotta do is hook up the same wires that they use for the metal detector on the bottom of it. A little programming. And you have a flying metal detector. Yeah, Gerald was born in Australia. He's a Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. He just plays an American on TV. Sorry about that. That was very rude, and I very much don't care. This ain't a social event. This is live from Niels Han Dynasty basement. I'm still waiting for Pinky and Brain to come by so we can make up a plan, a diabolical plan to take over the world. Burger. See, man, you gave me a chill when you said G, man. That's in the future, but I do plan on it. We just had about a week straight of rain, and actually got some sprinkles today, so I'm thinking might get more than just a week straight of rain. I did what little gardening in between the rain that I could. Like today, I was able to mow the lawn and replant or transplant another canis lily and till up some more soil around the garden area where I'm going to have my cannabis. I still have to get some tomato plants to throw out there and get a couple separate little 5-gallon buckets to do some separate experiments with my weed, separate from my garden area. But and I got more soil to get rid of. I still got to transplant my orange tree from the front yard to the backyard, so I got some work to do. I might try and get the tree tomorrow. Actually, I might try and transplant the tree tomorrow. We'll see. But I add azoospermillium and micros to all the root systems, everything I transplant, so it instantly hooks up with the mycelium network, so it has the best chance of survival after shock of transplant. All right, guys. Thank you all for stopping by. I've been going for 2.5 hours on a random live, and actually I've had up to 12 people, which is miraculous. There's still 8 here right now. I appreciate every one of you. I hope you had gained a little insight to perspectives that you can look at for possible advantageous use in your scenario of life that you are in. Trying to weave around all the intricacies and not insult anyone there. And I hope everyone has a good week and week coming up. And I'll still do my live stream in 12, 18 hours on Sunday. So, yeah, I'll be on in another 18 hours for my normal Sunday live. But I'm going to go ahead and end this one. Thank you all very much for stopping by. And if anyone wants to talk in backstage, I'll stay online for about 3 minutes after I end the stream. And I am going to end the stream right now. So you guys have a great evening.